All right, everybody. So, the other day, I attempted to do a segment for us to catch up on the recent charging of Andrew Tate with rape, sex trafficking, and I believe criminal conspiracy as well. I believe it's a total of 3 charges. It might be more. I wanted to cover it, and I specifically wanted to go over the evidence that was literally just him admitting to all the crimes he's being charged with on video in his podcasts and in his shows and stuff. And then I'd seen these clips, I'd seen them on H3 videos, I'd seen them in Willie Mack show videos and Bo Black's videos, I'd seen them on Twitter. But upon searching for those clips, literally word for word searching for what he said, we couldn't find them. My chat couldn't find the links, and I couldn't find the links. And I theorized, how much do you want to bet Andrew Tate is paying to wash the clips of him admitting to these crimes off the internet? Because it's an open and shut case when you literally have him describing how he would sex traffic these women with his sex traffic method, how he would teach it to his fans. He's just on video explaining how he'd do it. It's open and shut. It's over. He's on video explaining how he'd do it. But we couldn't find those clips, despite them existing, and we know they exist. I could literally type out the words he said word for word, right? Turns out, my little theory about Andrew Tate maybe paying to wash the evidence off the internet of his clips was not so much a theory as another Xander Hall correct prediction. Turns out he has done this, and these clips do exist. And we're going to be seeing some of them in this video. I've been asked to check this out. This is a 2-parter video from Willie Mack Show. Willie Mack Show is a drama/commentary YouTuber who I've had a couple run-ins with in the past. Notably, I debated him a while back, and it's pretty unanimously agreed that I won that debate. But honestly, I like Willie Mack Show. He's got some pretty cringe takes about keffals that I'm not a fan of. I think he's a little deranged in that department. But, overall, politically, even if he has some dumb takes that I don't like, I can tell that his heart is in the right place. And not just that, but that he actually makes up his own mind. I can appreciate that. That's something that's not very common in more edgelord drama tuber spaces. It feels a lot less like a lot of these figures are making up their own mind and more like they're following the bandwagon. And with Willie Mack, I feel a lot less like he's following a bandwagon, and I've many times seen him come out with takes or attacking people, not so much attacking, but exposing people that would not be politically beneficial for him to go after. Andrew Tate and Sneeko and Aiden Ross are big examples of this. Lately, Willie Mack Show has made some pretty hard-hitting content on the 3 of them, as well as some other pretty large conservative figures as well. And it's okay. That tells me that you're not just some right-wing demagogue that just wants to support the popular figures on the right and put down anybody who's popular on the left. You actually have beliefs and values, whether or not I agree with them, that have informed your opinions. And I can appreciate that, at least. I can. And he's generally pretty cordial. But yeah, he made a video, 2 videos, sorry, on Andrew Tate and the evidence that has come out. And apparently, judging off the titles and what the fans that have been sending me these videos have been saying, the evidence is pretty hard-hitting. Apparently these videos are really well made and pretty damn hard-hitting against Tate. So I'm very curious to see what he has to say here. These are pretty new. The first part is 6 days ago, or 6 days old, and the second part is 2 days old, or 1 day old, sorry. So we're going to be watching both parts and, seeing all the evidence there is now on the Tate brothers. But, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. For those that want to see the original video from Willie Mack, there will be links down below in the pinned comments. So, yeah, go check it out and leave a like and a comment from me, okay? With that said, let's hop into this first video. I believe Willie Mack Show does touch on Andrew Tate paying to flush the clips of him admitting to these crimes off the internet as well. that came along with, like, somebody sent me these videos and was like, hey, you were right about Andrew Tate flushing the evidence off the internet. Here's some videos, like, Willie Mac Show goes over it. He has the evidence that he did this. And I was like, all right, let's check it out. I haven't seen these yet. Let's watch.
Andrew Tate has had a rough 2023. He's been locked up in prison and then under house arrest since December of 2022, and he's now been officially charged. And Andrew Tate took no time to respond, for some reason comparing himself to an actual predator.
So it's really interesting to do a juxtaposition and do a comparison, right, between how they will treat Philip Schofield, who is confirmed as a groomer, who is admitting he has committed sexual crimes, and how they'll treat me.
Yo, this guy's lawyers have to be freaking out. This, I think, gives me a good excuse to talk about Andrew Tate, because when you really break it down, he's the reason why all this red pill stuff is blown up over the past year. All these guys try to be Andrew Tate. Sneeko got the same haircut as Andrew Tate. And as you'll soon find out, they're all about as dishonest as Tate, too. Now,
he's not wrong. He's actually somewhat wrong. I mean, they did all start because of Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate wasn't the start of this. If you track it all the way back, I'd say, like, Roosh V was the real start of this trend. Who remembers Roosh V? This is from 7 years ago, from Mike. Meet Roosh V, the men's rights activist who advocates for legal rape, quote unquote.
Meet Roosh V. He's a neo-masculinist blogger and pickup artist who fat shames women.
Fat girls are simply unattractive, so why should you waste time dating a fat chick?
And supports legalizing rape on private property.
I'm saying legalize rape so less women would be raped.
And here's the group of female boxers that wants to kick his ass.
These days, women have no shame in hiding the fact that they are sluts.
As you can see, Roosh V is not a good person.
American women are not perfect. They wear pajamas in public. This is retarded.
He runs a
Most of this shit is carried over, like, maybe in a slightly more rhetorically effective way by Andrew Tate. This guy was the original Andrew Tate. He was nowhere near as popular as Andrew Tate. This guy was just before his own time.
This group called Return of Kings, and if that weren't already awful enough, he hosts hetero tribal meetings to show men all over the world how to pick up women.
They're all getting a drink. Then they're like, okay, we got our drink. I guess we'll go. Bam, you're right there.
Andrew Tate.
You're right there.
Unfortunately, he had to cancel 165 meetings set to take place in 43 countries this Saturday over safety concerns for his members, which means the guy in favor of legalizing rape is afraid of being attacked.
We can no longer take a woman's word for it and believe that she was raped just because she said so.
The Toronto Newsgirls Boxing Club planned on protesting his event this Saturday by showing up with boxing gloves and taking it from there. And they're not the only ones who think he's a total Roosh bag.
Women must have their behavior and decisions controlled by men.
Oh, hell no.
An online petition banning him from the UK has collected over 80,000 signatures. Another online petition banning him from Australia has collected over 100,000. The mayor of Ottawa, the governor of Texas, and even Dr. Oz have shunned him.
I'm on the same team as you. We just use different medicine.
We're not the same team at all, believe me.
Look, at his core, he's an aspiring author and blogger, just trying to make sense of the world. His website is filled with thoughtful headlines like 8 things that make a girl stupid and useless. If you don't have kids, you don't matter. And who can forget his insightful life advice? Men should start recording sex with a hidden camera. Roosh V is like if Donald Trump and Martin Shkreli had a kid and then gave it a YouTube channel. At this moment, he literally has 666 Instagram followers.
He got way bigger, but then also fell off the map.
He claims that his legalized rape suggestion was satire, but the only thing that's a joke is him.
It's similar situation to Donald Trump. He's kind of a crass individual, and most women would laugh at him, and most men would not listen to him.
So if you're looking to get a girlfriend...
It is so wild to me that so many people are unaware of the fact that in 2016, a woman sued Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein with the claim of having raped her when she was 13 years old. All the way back in 2016, before all the Epstein shit, a woman sued Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, claiming they both raped her when she was 13 years old. And that was before all the Jeffrey Epstein shit came out. So mull over that for a minute. And consider whether or not you believe those accusations now. I didn't hear about that. Yeah, that famous court case where Trump was sued and accused of raping a 13-year-old girl, the other person that girl was suing was Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was the other person she was suing and accusing. Trump and Epstein in 2016. We all know. We all know Trump did it. We all know Trump did it. We all know. Pedocon law is set in fucking iron. Not in stone, fucking in steel, in titanium. It's carved into fucking titanium.
I want to say if Tate is 100% guilty or not because we just can't know until the trial concludes. And anybody who says otherwise is talking out their ass. But what we can do is break down all the information that's publicly available. And there's tons. Andrew and Tristan have been caught in some very obvious lies, skewing the truth. And today we're going to expose it. The charges that are officially filed are rape, instigating violence, and the big one, which is trafficking women, by seducing them and falsely claiming they want a relationship or marriage with them.
This is literally the crime he's being accused of. It's called the Loverboy method. And he's outright, yeah, Ace Attorney music. He's outright admitted several times to this being how he built his webcam business. It's Jover for him. The people prosecuting him are the Romanian FBI, pretty much.
These girls would then be stuck in Romania webcamming for the Tates. Trafficking legally falls under 3 categories, as this criminal lawyer describes it.
Sex trafficking, there's 3 unless you're dealing with underage, when we don't have any evidence that anybody's underage.
Yeah, so from my understanding, his first ever cam girl victim, who was like his bottom bitch as he called her, was a 15-year-old girl. And she is one of the women that defends him to this day, but she is also one of the accusees because she was Andrew Tate's Ghislaine Maxwell. So when Andrew Tate says, these women are defending me, the women are actually coming out to defend me, he actually means the woman who is also being accused of helping him orchestrate his sex trafficking ring. So that's the equivalent of Epstein saying, look, Ghislaine Maxwell is advocating for me. She says I'm not a creep. Yeah.
But we have 3 things: force,
I love this guy,
fraud, or coercion. Force, obviously, that's like being in chains and, not being allowed to leave. Fraud.
Andrew Tate outright admitted to the coercion and then did he admitted to the coercion, he admitted to the fraud, and he heavily implied the force.
Fraud being kept there under false pretenses. If there's an element of fraud in the way that you are enticing somebody or keeping somebody in a particular position to work for you, and if it's in the sex business, that's trafficking.
Andrew Tate admits this in his online course in pimping. He says he lies to the girls to get them to fall in love with him, saying they'll be in a relationship or married, when they won't be, in order to get them to fly out to Romania and work for him.
So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off.
So these are the clips we're seeing now that Andrew Tate has had scrubbed off the internet that we couldn't find when I tried to do this segment a few days ago, and I had to cancel the segment because we just couldn't find these clips. Andrew Tate has had these scrubbed from the internet. Thankfully, Willie Mac Show has compiled them together, and I am going to be able to help signal boost these clips that Andrew Tate so desperately doesn't want to be readily accessible.
I'd never do that. That's disgusting.
I might even, just for the sake of it, it would be unusual for my channel, but I just kind of want to exist. I might even have Cherry edit together. That's nothing but just a compilation of Andrew Tate admitting to these crimes, and just put out a video that's just called A Compilation of Andrew Tate Admitting to Sex Trafficking and Rape. Just so that people can, have that as a thing that exists, because I haven't been able to find it. I think, somebody needs to have made it. We might just go ahead and do that. Why not? Why not make that archive video that's there for people to find easily with good search engine optimization? Do it, Zan? I think I'll have Cherry do that.
I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you.
This is the PhD test, by the way.
And this is the test. A quality woman, after you sleep with her, when your attention drops, will do anything it takes to get your attention back up, to retain you as a man. So a quality woman will bend her normal rules. A girl who would perhaps never buy you coffee is now prepared to do something for you, will bend her normal rules to get your attention back post-sex.
Yeah,
If
but
she
what kind of
passes the
typical
PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy, you're always at work, you can come work for me. She has to respect you and love you.
So he's explaining how he coerces these women into quitting their jobs and starting like a webcam career with him as their pimp.
And want to work with you. And that's done through positive pimp, positively inspirational and motivating person.
He was very open about doing all of this on his course, which was on his website until he was arrested this year. Andrew writes, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, test if
Oh, he
she's
got his name
quality,
tattooed
get her to fall in love with
on
me to
them.
where she'd do anything I'd say, and then get her on webcam. For fuck's sake, guys, he read, studied, and recommended books on pimping.
I'm gonna send you a book. It's a
Okay.
guy called Pimpin' Ken, who was a street pimp in the 90s, and he wrote a book, 50 Laws of the Game. And one of the laws of the game is a hoe without instruction.
I like this guy's Trump hat. I like how we're just like, we're not even pretending. We're not even pretending that like these people aren't just like entirely in favor of raping women and children. Like they're just it's like that's just what they believe in. It's what they support. They defend people instinctually when they are accused of these things. Like before, like without a second thought, the second someone gets accused of like, unless they're LGBT, if a guy gets accused of pedophilia or raping a woman, their first response is to defend that guy. Crazy, huh?
Is headed for destruction.
Now, the Tate's defense has essentially been to just gaslight everybody. They say the webcam business hasn't existed in years. Sometimes it's 6 years.
What about the webcam business?
I'm not even in that. I haven't been in that business for like 6 years.
The Tate News account, which is constantly retweeted by them, says it was 10 years ago. Tristan says it was 4 years ago. Then just last week, Andrew Tate said no, it actually was 10 years ago, even though 10 months earlier, he said it was only 6 years ago.
And that was a past life. You're talking about something that happened 10 years ago.
It was that long ago.
It was about 10 years ago, yeah. It was at the very beginning of it.
It's hands down the most inconsistent story on the internet, where every time I look into it, I discover yet another inconsistency. Here he is saying he's still doing it 3 years ago.
Like, do you do that still?
He's definitely still doing it. This wouldn't have all come out and like gone down the way it did if he wasn't still doing it. I'm pretty sure I've seen text of him outright saying like within the last couple years where he gets his money from is the webcam business, his sex trafficking business.
I have 3 girls who still work for me.
The fact is, the webcam business does exist. It still exists. They just don't have the girls' webcam anymore. Instead, they use a combination of TikTok and OnlyFans. But don't be fooled, the business model remains the same. That business model being extract as much money out of simps as possible.
I'd pull in, let's say, $3,000 a day, $4,000 a day.
Yeah, I'm teaching guys how to run OnlyFans companies because OnlyFans is the best hustle in the world.
This is from 2020. Saying their webcam business doesn't exist anymore is a technicality. They're still doing it, just in a more modern way. Their new misdirection is saying that they were arrested for stealing girls' TikTok money.
I'm going to tell you what we are accused of, and I'm allowed to talk about this because it was on my arrest documents. Here is the official story. In 2021, 2 years ago, my brother and I
2 years
formed
now.
an organized criminal gang with the intent of moving women to Romania so we could steal money from their TikTok accounts to enrich ourselves.
They were not arrested for stealing money from TikTok accounts. According to the Romanian Directorate for Investigation of Organized Crime and Terrorism, I had to translate a lot of this, so bear with me. At the beginning,
Something that a lot of the Andrew Tate fans have in common is age. They're very young. And because of their like youth, there are 2 big characteristics that the Tate brothers have taken advantage of. One is they're extremely gullible, and they have an inherent desire to believe that the guys that they hold as like literal like these are father figures to most of these young men that watch their content. So they want to believe that they're father figures, they're god figures in some cases, if you look at the memes they make, are innocent, right? Or in the right in whatever they did. And on the other hand, you've got the fact that their youth makes them very inexperienced and generally pretty lacking in knowledge in regards to the legal system. I imagine many of you have probably seen a fair amount of like Andrew Tate fans on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever it may be, talking about the Romanian legal system, and they're clearly talking about the American legal system. Like, they're talking about Andrew Tate's situation as if he was being tried as an American in America by the American court system. Because they have been convinced by Andrew Tate that it's the Matrix. It's the man is after them, right? So it's all, like, they talk about it like it's all one big thing. They don't consider Romanian laws or Romanian legal. They think about it like it's America, or things they heard on TV or from the Tate brothers. They just took at face value. Yeah, they say shit like, why won't Biden free him? You guys have seen that, right? The people that are Andrew Tate fans shitting on Biden because Biden hasn't freed Andrew Tate. And this is like Biden's fault. They are literally that gullible and stupid and lacking in basic knowledge of how world's governments, laws, or legal systems work. Wait, what? Yes, they are children. Most Andrew Tate fans are teens and preteens. They are not on the older side. They're like, they just got out. Like, they went from like, here's basically like the arc of the average Zoomer, okay? They're watching Cocomelon on YouTube, okay? At like, when they're like a toddler. And then when they get a little older, they're watching like Minecraft videos and Fortnite shit. And they get a little older and they start watching TikTok and getting into dumb TikTok trends. And they get a little older and start going through YouTube shorts and TikTok and finding like Andrew Tate clips and stuff like that. This is usually around the time they're in middle school and they have their first crush. Maybe their first crush shot them down a bit and they're a little bitter about it. You know, it's like the perfect time and age demographic to radicalize young men into, like, a lot of young men. I don't know if many of the women in chat are going to be able to relate. I'm sure many of you actually will. But a lot of young men feel highly entitled to the concept of losing their virginity. And they haven't quite understood the idea, many of them, that, like, a girl they like is another person, and, like, you are not entitled to them feeling the same way you feel about them back. It is not like an ill done upon you that they don't feel the same way back as you feel about them. And so a lot of these young guys feel like it's an insult to not be liked back by the girl they like. And that insult, that feeling of insult, is very easy to take advantage of by these conservative demagogues and morph it into like a red pill propaganda point, right? Women are people, source. Yeah. But also there's a lot of otherizing, right? Have you noticed how much media that is very right-wing, like red pill shit targeted at kids tries to otherize men and women? They try to make it seem as though men are like almost like a different species from women. That we have no things in common, no, no parallel interests or anything like that. Almost as if men and women societally are diametrically opposed to each other. It's a very childish thought process, and the reason why these conservative demagogues say it is because their audience are generally pretty much children. That's the simple truth of it.
Beginning of 2021, the 4 defendants created a criminal group organized in order to commit the crime of human trafficking in the territory of Romania, but also in other countries such as the United States and Great Britain. The victims were recruited by the Tate brothers by misleading them about the intention to establish a marriage or cohabitation relationship in the existence of real feelings of love. The lover boy method of sex trafficking. Boy, does that sound familiar.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls.
This is another one of those clips we couldn't find the other day that he's had scrubbed from the internet.
How I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me.
She has to respect you and love you. You don't want a girl who's in it for money. You want a girl who's in it to be with you.
The girls were later transported and housed in buildings in Ilfov County, where by exercising acts of physical violence and mental coercion, through intimidation, constant surveillance, control, and invoking alleged debts, they were sexually exploited by group members by forcing them to perform demonstrations pornographic in order to produce and spread through some social media platform. The 7 women identified during the criminal investigation were subjected to forced labor in order to obtain important financial benefits, consisting of sums of money as a result of viewers accessing the materials on the platform. Basically, the girls would go on TikTok and OnlyFans and get simps to send them loads of money, to which Andrew would take huge chunks of. So exactly what he's been bragging about doing on all of these podcasts.
It's open and shut. The only reason why Andrew Tate has not fallen as a public figure because of this is because his audience are gullible enough to believe every word that comes out of his mouth. Zen, best to archive these clips just to ensure its existence. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I think I'll probably be doing that. God damn, nearly 900 people watching, by the way. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate all of you for coming out.
These guys falling in love with my models.
I also appreciate you all for coming to the stream. Got him.
Serious, big time in love, right? And they were convinced they were going to meet the chick. This is almost where I kind of felt bad. Because they were like, can we meet? I've sent you $200,000. Can we meet? Can we meet? Can we meet? And the problem
What was
is,
the most that one person sent to a model? Total.
Million?
Of the 7 girls who were sexually exploited by the organized crime group, 3 became civil parties in the criminal process. Andrew Tate would call these girls that would help him recruit more girls his bottom bitch.
Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner.
So for those that don't know, like, how sex trafficking and, like, all that shit works, to give you an idea, like, to give it, like, a bit of a comparison to something that's a little more well-known, Ghislaine Maxwell was Jeffrey Epstein's bottom bitch. Like, she was the one that helped to coerce and groom children. And he was like, she was like the primary person that was like orchestrating that, because even sexual assaulters are smart enough to know that in our society, we disarm ourselves around women, especially in regards to sex crimes. Even men feel a lot more disarmed about the concept of potentially being sexually assaulted around any woman than any man, right? Like, you can be with your best bro, and you're less worried about being sexually assaulted with your best bro, more worried about being sexually assaulted by your best bro than you are by any strange woman on the street. Because our society kind of teaches this idea that men are, like, inherently, like, degenerate sex creeps, and oftentimes that is true, to be fair, while women are almost, like, not, like, how often do you see this implication in a lot of culture that women don't even like sex, and it's more of, like, a privilege they begrudgingly take part in to, like, keep men in control? Like, as long as I have sex with my man, which I don't even really like to do, then he'll do what I want. Which is, of course, a really misogynistic perspective to take, and it is a misogynistic idea, but also not one that aligns with reality. Like, every girl I've ever had sex with was super fucking into it. Nothing like what culture would teach you about, like, women withholding sex from men as, like, a cookie, a reward for doing, like, respecting her, doing things for her. Like, it's really not like that generally in real life. It's a completely made-up concept. The idea that women are not into sex and it's a thing they give men begrudgingly as a way of, like, having control over men, having some type of leverage to keep men in line. It's a completely misogynistic idea that isn't even based in reality.
Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Dudes, he's admitting to doing exactly what he's charged for. He's now just trying to obfuscate information. I'm no fan of the BBC. I think the interview they had with him was poor. They asked a lot of leading questions. However, Andrew Tate was blatantly lying at several points during that interview in an attempt to sway public opinion.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what...
We get it, you have sex? Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't say I have sex. I've said I've had sex. I play FF14 and WoW now.
I personally said, I think that's
exactly what
no,
you said.
That's no, I've never said that.
That is exactly what you said, word for word, on your website. You can still view it using the Wayback Machine. It was part of his online course on pimping.
Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
Update. He's recently asked to remove it off of the Wayback Machine. So you can't... That was the
bit that I was told about when I had these videos sent to me that I want to see. full-on confirmation Andrew Tate has had these clips where he admits to the crimes scrubbed, even off the Wayback Machine. What, you can just do that if you have enough money and criminal connections, yeah? So there was a reason you guys couldn't find those clips. I apologize for getting mad at you guys. That wasn't your fault. Andrew Tate has literally paid probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, to scrape the evidence of him blatantly admitting to these crimes off the internet. Yeah, I got mad at you guys for no reason. I'm sorry. Literal mob shit? Yep.
Can't look it up anymore. He's hiding the evidence.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. CobraTape.com, I have my PhD program.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
He then lies again and says that it's not his website.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
The website is CobraTate.com. It's your Twitter handle, your name. Every video you post ends with your website URL. And
how much you want to bet he's going to have some, like, loophole excuse, like, oh, but technically the person who bought the domain and the name is under my friend, like, some shit like that. How much you want to bet he's going to try to pull that? Like, oh, but the domain's bought and under the name of my friend, not me, so it's not my website, technically.
And it's you in the courses. It's like, how much paint do you have to sniff to believe that this isn't his website? You'd have to forgo all common sense. What, is this another technicality? It's actually my brother who owns the site. This whole thing where the Matrix is out to get truth.
And the reason
Anybody who says shit like this is like, isn't it funny how similar this is to the talking points from the Miranda Sings ukulele response video, where she got outed as a groomer? And she did, like, her response video where it's, like, the ukulele song. And she's like, no one cares. They just want to destroy my career. Did it, or whatever it was. You know, like, the same idea that, like, they're just after you. They don't need a reason. They just want to destroy you, and they'll find any excuse. It's sometimes true, but usually not. It's usually the words someone says when they have been caught dead to rights guilty of something and they have no other response. Not always, but it's definitely the case here, and it definitely seems to be the case with Miranda Sings.
Do and they fucking will.
Sneeko, Fresh and Fit, Pearl, Zerka, Alex Jones, they all talk about how the women suck and that the Matrix is evil and that you have to be rich. They all say and do way crazier stuff than the Tates, yet he's the only one.
And yet they're all loaded as fuck. I've watched all of these people talk about how rich people have it easier and they can get away with anything, and yet they're all filthy fucking rich. Yeah, rich people can get away with a lot of shit, but not to that degree, because what they actually mean when they say rich people is they. You know, with the echoes, Salty Shay's on the money. They mean the Jews. When they talk about, like, wealthy, you know, coastal elite, ivory tower, what other dog whistles do they have? They've got a long list of different terms that just basically refer to what they mean as Jewish person. They mean Jewish people. Elites, globalists, Zionists, bankers. These are all words that they substitute for Jew.
That walks around paranoid for a year saying that he's going to go to jail.
Strike two is they try and put you in jail for no reason.
For reason.
He's not Edward Snowden. What innocent person walks around and says this? The day before he was charged, he uploaded a video telling people not to look at the evidence that would come out. It's all lies.
These people are liars. The people they tell you are good are not good. The people they tell you are bad are the good ones. Do not.
The sad thing is, they listen when he tells them not to go look at the evidence, because you can't trust it. So much so to the extent that I had Andrew Tate fans earlier in the stream coming into my chat demanding that I be silent and shut up and not cover this. Like, they were demanding I stop showing these clips and I stop, like, showing this video. Like, they insist that you not even be allowed to show the supposed false evidence that they shouldn't see.
It's blind offense. It's demagoguery.
Not believe a word that they say.
The video then ends by linking to his website, which remember, is totally not his, by the way. I'm glad his case is going to trial, but I'm not going to pretend there's a 50-50 chance of him winning. In fact, I think there's a 99% chance he's totally screwed. You just need common sense to see it. Like this common sense t-shirt. It's not politics, it's common sense. WillieMacShop.com. We got 3 t-shirts.
That is such a dog shit sentiment. I'm sorry, it is. But it does kind of like, it does kind of put into sort of perspective the mindset that a lot of these types of people go with. Like, when I talk about these extremely political things, even if his takes are based, I'm not actually talking about politics. Because he doesn't want to be a politics guy. He doesn't want to be known for politics. He doesn't want to get into politics. But he does want to get into politics. So this is like a better description would be, I want to have my cake and eat it too. Poncho thought his takes on trans people were common sense too, lol. Yes, this is like the go-to, like, Willie Mac show wants to talk about politics. And his takes are even generally, from what I've seen, especially lately, pretty based. But he doesn't want to talk about politics. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, dude, you're talking about politics.
T-shirts, all of them using 100% custom art. Then nice, the common sense t-shirt, the red pill t-shirt. This is the newest one and I love it. It looks great on this black guy. That means it will look great on you. This shop is a great way for me to offset the lack of monetization I get for covering these psychos. So be sure to check it out. They're pretty cool. So where were we? Oh yeah, lying about trafficking. There are very real messages that are between 2 girls that were allegedly trafficked by the Tates. The Tates acknowledge the messages to be real and acknowledge that the girls lived with them. In fact, there's video proof. So their whole plan is to only show one snippet of the messages and then use it to dismiss the entire thing. So what do the messages say? Well, the first girl had to trick the Tates into thinking that she was madly in love with them, so she would be granted extra freedoms, like leaving the house. She then had her parents buy her a plane ticket so she could come home. While she was trapped with the Tates, she found another girl who also claimed to be trafficked. So she let her in on the plan so they could escape together. These messages are the first girl to her parents. I'm a little worried about leaving, but we set our flights up for 6 a.m. He moved me into a house with 4 girls. 3 of the 4 girls have been here 1 to 5 years and are the groomers. They normalize taking her clothes off and sending them pictures together. Tristan's brother is dating Blink from Blink. She's broken up with him. He texted her telling her if she loves him, she will cut an A into her wrist. His name is Andrew. They are definitely trafficking women. Her parents then reply, "Hi, Dad here. Stop your messages now. Go low key as you are in a very dangerous situation." She replied, "I'm actually in the best position to get out right now." The other girls might tell them though, "We are going to leave when they are sleeping." These girls are brainwashed. They don't do anything except stay in the house, and if they leave, everyone has to know. There are handlers too.
So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere.
These are the clips that he's having scrubbed off the internet. We couldn't find links to these clips because he's had them scrubbed.
You're not, no restaurants, no clubs, nothing.
As I said, the 2 girls had to trick the Tates into thinking that they were madly in love with them. That way they would be given extra freedoms like leaving the house. Here's the messages between the 2 girls. If we make them believe we are in love, they will not suspect us leaving whatsoever. We need an effing Oscar. Let's go. Let's email Netflix ASAP, Hulu, Amazon Prime. Now the Tates and their supporters.
Do you think the Tate brothers actually thought all these women were really in love with them? Cezanne, this is how you do a sex cult? Yeah, I'm just so bad at it. Not enough experience.
Never show the full context of these messages. They just show the Oscar and the Netflix part and then frame the Tates as victims of these money-hungry girls who just want a Netflix special.
If a girl finesses a guy, it's, yo, that's awesome. That's, you know, they laugh at the guy like, you dummy.
Oh yeah, this is them cutting those clips of them talking about how them pretending to love them so they can get out and not be under suspicion that they'll try to escape is evidence that they're pretending in all of this. It's part delusion, part dishonesty. No, it's full dishonesty from these figures and whatnot. They know they have to, like, Fresh and Fit is like one of the most degenerate podcasts on the internet.
If a dude finesses a chick, yo, Netflix documentary. Put him in jail. Put him in jail.
By finesse, they mean trafficked, just clarifying.
Here is the leaked messages from the girls who accused them of trafficking back in April who called the embassy. Turns out they knew the whole time. Turns out they planned it out and they wanted to get a Netflix series.
There is zero intellectual integrity when it comes to this red pill space. It's an us versus them mentality. Forget about the facts.
When everyone attacked Andrew Tate, we didn't sit there and say, oh, you know what, man? They probably are human traffickers. You know, they probably are criminals. No! What the fuck did we do? We stood by them. We still stand by them and fuck anybody that goes against them. That's how we move over here. If we work with you, we earn $1 with you, we're going to have some level or some semblance of respect for you, and we're not going to fuck with your name.
That's just them admitting that they're, like, all in it for the money, and their audience is like, yeah, base, that grind, you know? Because they're still, like, dumb little kids who haven't developed the concept of empathy yet, or guilt. Like, they don't have the capacity to feel guilt yet.
Blind loyalty is not a respectable trait. What, you make a few bucks with a guy so you cover for him even when he's guilty? If you guys can't be honest about something, you should probably just avoid talking about it. Now, when it comes to the girls' messages and the charges filed against Tate, they line up perfectly. The girls talk about having to work for Tate, like post some TikToks. Huh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense when looking at the charges.
Of moving women to Romania so we could steal money from their TikTok accounts.
That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me.
Fucking Meat Canyon animation, bro. Such a good video.
I want to take a moment and address some of the arguments that I already know will be made by their fans. The first one is that the girls made happy TikToks while working with Andrew Tate, therefore they were happy, and clearly never tried.
Yeah, that's about right. That's a pretty good, like, insight into what kinds of arguments they're making. I want you to imagine how old you have to be to make that argument. These women couldn't have been sex trafficked because, look, they're making happy TikToks. We're talking 12, 13, and in regards to the adults, and there are some adults in there, we're talking need to be under the jail, right? But for the most part, these are kids, right? I love what's on the chat here. Resist the soy mindset. Or mind resist the soy. Resist the soy. Mind resist the soy. Mind resist the soy. W masculinity. L liberal bots. No e-girls. Lamau. Hitler fought against the satanic agenda of the Jewish elite. Believe all right. Hell nah. At least one person here seems to be somewhat reasonable. Believe all right-wingers? Hell nah. Zan is pretty happy considering Cherry has him at gunpoint for content. True. I taught Cherry how to shoot, and Cherry's gotten, like, scary good with a gun. Yeah, if I even get up to use the bathroom, it's Jover for me. Cut to black. That's just a meme. I'm just joking.
Trafficked.
Look at what they were really doing. They're in the house all the time. This is them. Does this look like women who are being held against their will?
The trafficking part is them having to get money out of simps. That's Tate's entire business model. So yes, it would make sense they would look happy in a TikTok. Another argument is that there's security footage of the girls leaving outside the house, proving that they were never trapped.
Oh, terrible. They really are. Like, come on, man. Yo, and bro, isn't step one to hold the girls captive?
The girls like, man,
this is like... legit. This is legit, bro. What you call?
They don't look very allowed to leave.
In the text messages that you guys didn't read, they explained that if they convinced the Tates that they were in love with them, they would be given more freedoms like the ability to leave the house. And then finally, there's the argument that the Tates are already rich, so why would they traffic women?
The narrative is that I formed a criminal gang when my net worth was already...
Why would the criminal who's rich do crime that would make them more money? They already have so much money. Why does he have hair? Why does Andrew Tate... Oh, this is when he was for some reason letting his hair grow out? Yeah, rough scene.
Over $100 million when I was a retired professional sportsman, when my brother was already the retired 4-time kickboxing champion of the world with no financial motive.
It actually makes a ton of sense that they would still be doing this trafficking stuff. It's how they made their millions in the first place. Don't let this new narrative fool you that they made their millions from boxing, because they were saying the opposite less than a year ago.
Bro, I need to get paid. Right? I'm broke now. I'm retired from fighting. I have no money. I'm running out of money.
I was 28 when I won my 4th world title. And one day I woke up and I literally just woke up. I looked at my bank. I just won a world title fight, but I hadn't fought in 6 months. By the time I paid all my back rent and paid my car payments, all that, I looked at my bank. I had like $3 grand, $4 grand in there. And I'm like,
I'm giving up my entire life and I don't even know how I'm going to live. And the beginning of my cam empire was this tiny little apartment, me and my 2 girlfriends. I'd pull in, let's say, $3,000 a day, $4,000 a day. So that became my new life, right? I went from kickboxer to a fucking pretend girl on the internet.
There's probably going to be a lot of Tate fans in the comments saying that I took things out of context. Yep. All the red pillars love to say that. It's the biggest cope. Link them to this timestamp. Prove it. Make a video showing that I took something out of context. You won't do it.
No, they won't. They'll just hate comment and drop a dislike. And it'll be like the most deranged fucking hate comment you'll ever read as well. And it'll be very bad grammar and in broken English because it was probably posted by a Greek 12-year-old. That's pretty much it.
Cause I did it. Bitch, I always bring receipts.
Here in the dark, it's hard to tell. So hard to tell.
Andrew and Tristan Tate have been charged with rape, assault, instigating violence, and I have no idea if he's guilty of any of that. None of that information or evidence has been made public. But is he guilty of these sex trafficking charges, where he would coerce women with a relationship and potentially marriage using the lover boy method?
Because that's
exactly what he explained in these videos is definitionally the lover boy method. He could literally be reading off the definition from Wikipedia, and it would not be as accurate to the crime as what he describes he did on these videos.
what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me.
There you
And
go.
then when he got them in Romania, make them work on TikToks and OnlyFans for him.
Yeah, I'm teaching guys how to run OnlyFans companies.
To pull money out of simps online.
What was the most that one person sent to a model? Total.
Million?
Yes, I think he's 100% guilty of that. He's on camera admitting it. He sold courses teaching it and has now resorted to deleting the courses off the site and lying about it ever existing. He's lying about owning the site, which is his name.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
This dude is super guilty. All the evidence is right in front of you. Now, maybe there's some weird technicality that he gets out on, but Andrew Tate seems pretty worried, and that makes me think he's screwed.
The Romanian government is going to charge me. They're not going to charge me because they have any evidence, and they're not going to charge me because I'm guilty of anything.
Bro, they have a ton of evidence. Just look at this video.
When the Matrix unrelentingly continues to print lies about me and try to convince the world that I am a bad person, I hope it does nothing else but show the world that I am a good person. These people are liars. The people they tell you are good are not good. The people they tell you are bad are the good ones. Do not believe a word that they say.
He's begging people to ignore the evidence that comes out during the trial. This is sad. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because I made other videos documenting Andrew Tate's underlings and the psychotic space they've created on.
He made a part 2 that people also want me to watch. Should we watch part 2? Do you guys want to watch the follow-up? Yep. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Earlier this
All right. Willie Mac Show. Andrew Tate Expose Part 2. This one's called Lock Him Up. Andrew Tate's horrible new charges. So this is in regards to the new charges that came out, I believe, after he made that first video. It was kind of like just kind of dropped. Bro is still blaming the Matrix. Yeah. It's crazy how it's very obvious when he talks about the Matrix. He's literally referring to the Matrix like from the Matrix movies. But then his fans pretend like he's not. It's like, no, He's actually talking about it like we live in a simulation. I think he actually believes in simulation theory. And I think that's what he means when he says the Matrix. I think it's pretty obvious.
This week, we got to view the charges levied against Andrew Tate and compare it to the evidence that was already publicly available. And what we found was some self-snitching for hours on end, selling an online course for how to traffic women for hundreds of dollars.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me.
And then once when he was arrested in late 2022, he started hiding the evidence, lying in interviews.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
No, I've never said that.
And even going as far as hiding pages and removing his website from the Wayback Machine. I'm not one who normally agrees with Sneeko, but I might this one time.
I've always said this on my stream. If they hide it, then it's the truth. If they have to delete it, then it's the truth.
Then Sneeko agrees with me. This guy is guilty. All of this information is available in my previous video, so if you're out of the loop, that's the place to catch up. And now even more charges have been levied against the Tate in the form of money laundering and trafficking minors. And guess what?
Yeah, this is when the new charges came out. Money laundering and trafficking minors are the new charges that are getting added on. Yeah, I forgot. He's also a pedophile. Yeah, he's gotten outed as a pedophile and all this, too. I forgot to mention that.
He is 100% guilty. How do I know this? Because he won't stop self-snitching. It's all over his $337 course on running a webcam business. So let's start with the new charges. DICOT, the Romanian Directorate for the Investigation of Organized Crime and Terrorism, has now brought 3 more charges to the
I'm pretty sure that's the, Romanian FBI.
Tates. That being crimes of money laundering, favoring the perpetrator, influencing statements, and trafficking minors. Now this was translated from Romanian, so I want to address the translation error. Google Translate converts the statement to, "This case was ordered to be dismissed when it comes to these new charges." Tate fans have been proudly spewing this all over the internet, but that's simply not true. It's just that the specific Romanian word doesn't have a direct translation from Romanian to English, so it incorrectly translates to dismissed. This is a common legal phrase used in Romania for when the prosecution is trying to separately investigate and charge the individual.
This is some good journalism on the part of Willie Mack. To find out that that word that the Tate fans are taking out of context in the translation to try to make it look like his charges have been dropped. Can you imagine the copium world that these people are living in, where they think Andrew Tate's charges have been dropped? There is a non-zero amount of Andrew Tate fans out there who fell for this and actually think Andrew Tate's charges have been dropped. Meanwhile, he's in deeper shit than ever. What do you think they're gonna, say or think when they find out Andrew Tate is in prison for trafficking children, sex trafficking, money laundering, criminal conspiracy? What are they gonna do? Are they just going to, foam at the mouth and, have a seizure in denial? Are they just gonna watch old Andrew Tate clips and believe that they're new ones and keep telling themselves they're new and that Andrew Tate is free? I don't even know... I don't even know how they're going to process it, you know? They've told themselves that his charges are dropped because of a mistranslation, and it's just not the case. What are they going to do when they find out he's been locked in the clink? They're going to be like, what? I thought his charges were dropped. Oh, we do have an Andrew Tate fan in YouTube chat. We can get a little bit of a look at the, the IQ of an Andrew Tate fan. What color is your Matrix agent? Wait, I hope this is a meme. What color is your... Wait, I woke up in a new Bugatti. Andrew Tate is just better. I hope you're memeing. I hope that's a meme. But if it is a meme, or if it is not a meme, that is a very accurate display of how Andrew Tate defenders are.
Individual, instead of resolving it together in a single case. This phrase is used in Romanian court all the time. Feel free to look it up yourself. But the charges are coming, and Andrew Tate is definitely guilty of at least one of those things, that being trafficking minors. Or as far as Andrew admits, one minor, that being Tate's bottom bitch, Vivian.
Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out.
Yeah, this is the 15-year-old girl that he groomed.
Bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling.
This is the girl. This girl was 15 years old when he first started trafficking her and groomed her into the sex trafficking trade. But prior to that, though, or after that, sorry, not prior. After that, though, she became his primary tool for grooming young girls into getting into his sex trafficking ring. She became his bottom bitch, right? And so not only is he being charged with this, but she is too. This girl who he started grooming at 15 is the girl that's come out to defend him, and she's also receiving these charges. That's why she's come out to defend him, is because her innocence is predicated on his innocence.
Girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. And your whole business has to be built off the back of your bottom bitch. So if you have a girl in mind and you're already fucking her, pitch her.
Vivian, along with one other woman, is also being charged in this case because she was playing a key role in trafficking these girls to Romania.
You do when you're in my situation, where you have a girlfriend of 6 years and you try and bring a new girl in. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years, which is difficult. And I only get away with that because the girl of 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. Vivian's been with me 6 years, 6 years.
Remember this. He's been dating Vivian for 6 years.
She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we felt whatever, we're in love. But when a new girl comes, she'll go, oh yeah, I started off working for him and it's just how it worked out. She'll super downplay us so that the new girl feels like, well, they're just kind of work and sex and now I'm here and he likes me and she can believe in her mind that she can be equal. But that's basically how it works. I've got my main bitch, my bottom bitch, Vivian.
But when Tate first pulled her into this business, it turns out she was young, like very young. In this course from 2019, Tate explains how Vivian was his first girl that he's been with for 6 years, when he first started the webcam business.
So yeah, that's how it started. I met Vivian in Slovakia. We had a long-term relationship thing. I was living in England. I moved her to England to be with me to start doing my webcam company, which I started. And you try and bring a new girl in. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Do the math on that one. That means Vivian was only 15 years old when Tate brought her in the webcam business. That's not even the age of consent, let alone for the creation of pornography. So 10 years ago, he would have been 26 with a 15-year-old. His words, not mine. He put this on the internet. It boggles my mind that somebody could be this stupid. I need a break. With fume. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of drastic, uncomfortable change...
I've seen this shit. These are like little, I might use these when I'm getting off vaping, unironically. These are these little, they're not, weed pens. They're not vape pens. These are, like, flavored air. It's like a little flavor pod you put in, and it doesn't make vapor or fumes. It's just smell. Like, it's just sort of like a vaporous sort of taste that you kind of get in the air, you know? And so you just breathe in the air, and it has some flavor in it. And it gives that sort of, like, sensation of, like, hitting a vape, kind of, but there's no nicotine in it. There's no, like, vapor there. It's not like, even nicotine vapor, apparently. I've seen ads for this, and it seems pretty good. It seems like it might be useful for getting off of vaping. I definitely want to wait around and see whether or not it's safe and any health concerns there might be about it first, you know, to do my due diligence. How you got to do what you got to do. But conceptually, this seems like a really good product for getting off of vaping, and I might end up using them. Tried them, unsatisfying. I feel like a lot of my vaping addiction is less so the nicotine and more so the feeling of hitting the vape and having the flavor.
Why not remove the bad from your habit? So when it comes to bad habits, sometimes the easiest thing to do is replace it with a good habit. No battery, no vapor, no harmful chemicals. Fume is just flavored air, and it's actually really well designed. There's this fun magnet that attaches to the body. You just pull out one of the flavored cores, insert it into the fume.
It's also a fidget toy. It's a fidget toy, and you can hit it for a flavored air hit. But it also acts as a fidget toy that works in several different ways and has several different, like, stimuli things.
To adjust the airflow, and you're good to go. I got a terrible habit where I get stuck while working, and then I go to the kitchen to get a snack when I probably shouldn't, or go and grab another cup of coffee when I definitely don't need it. Now whenever I get stuck or bored at work, instead of grabbing for more food or getting another coffee, I just grab the fume and fidget around with it. It's got a really nice weight. I love the texture and feel of the wood, and the magnet's pretty fun to play with. And if I want a little hit of flavor, and I'm good to go, right back to work. By the way, the peppermint flavor is my favorite. So break your destructive habits and try Fume. Use the link in the description along with my promo code WillyMac to get 10% off when you order the Journey Pack today. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this video.
Oh, okay. These wiretap videos even I couldn't find online. Andrew Tate has had these taken down as well. These are the ones I really wanted to show.
There are a ton of people, including the Tates, claiming that they aren't trafficking anyone because women love them.
Endless women support us.
But that isn't a very good defense because of the two webcam.
These young boys live in a fantasy world in which they actually believe, like, women are attracted to the type of dude that the Tate brothers are. Like, they actually live in that fantasy world where, like, there are a bunch of hot women that would fall in love with the Tate brothers. That's a world they think exists. That gives you a little perspective.
Webcam girls siding with him, both of them are being charged as well, and for a very good reason. These are transcripts leaked by the prosecution of the Tate's webcam WhatsApp group chat. The prosecution, as well as one girl, are claiming this took place right before she was beat and raped. RL is a former policewoman and Tristan's assistant, who is also being charged. NG is Andrew's bottom bitch, who is also being charged. PI is the victim that is sided with the prosecution, and Andrew Tate is Andrew Tate. You are free tonight to sleep. Don't rub the mint. So you can be arrested tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday Sunday for the weekend. The policewoman says, so there's clearly no longer a problem for recovery. The victim responds, you mean, but I didn't say I'm not going in today at all. The former policewoman then asks, well, how much did you have to recover so far? Don't bewitch me because you didn't do anything today. Andrew then chimes in, did you tell the new hooker that you made a lot of money? The bottom bitch then says, you see, we split on OnlyFans.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Andrew Tate bragging about how corrupt Romania is because he had former and current police that were in on his sex trafficking scheme. So one of the women that was helping him was a former policewoman. So that's why he refers to a former policewoman. This wasn't like some sort of interview in court. This was a corrupt cop that was working with Andrew Tate.
G takes O, I take you. Maybe you're not listening because I'm killing you if we don't make money. Punch yourself in the mouth until I arrive, because then I'll give you another 10, you incurable sloth. I'll break you when I get there. The girl then asks, what did I do? Policewoman replies, you have...
This is from the wiretap over the phone.
1 hour and 10 minutes to disappear. The victim then asks again, but what did I do? And the policewoman answers, better said, what did you do yesterday for an hour? You're 20% down 4 days since you posted. The bottom bitch then jumps in, I'm waiting for the money yesterday. And the former policewoman ends it with, well, if Andrew looks to see if you posted TikToks, you won't even have time to pack. You're flying off the balcony straight away. So when they're sitting there claiming all these girls are siding with them, that's just not true. It's only the girls being charged as well. I want to take a moment and address the comments that many of the Tate fans have been leaving, claiming that what the Tates are doing...
Yeah. So a common point you'll hear from Tate fans is that these women are actually defending him. It's 2 women. They're also being charged. They were also complicit in his sex trafficking, and all the evidence points to that. They have every reason to defend Tate.
Isn't human trafficking. They say, man, this concept of human trafficking is so dumb. Apparently working for webcam because you fell in love is now manipulation. Like girls can't think for themselves now. It's like making a girl fall in love with me and then telling her to jump off a cliff. And where the F are they being trafficked to? Romania, specifically his various properties in Ilfov County.
It's funny how I don't think I've ever seen an Andrew Tate fan comment without including an emoji in it. Either the laughing, crying emoji, the clown emoji, or the skull emoji. I've never seen an Andrew Tate fan make a point or post something that doesn't include one of those 3 emojis. Because they're 12.
Because putting girls who are in love with you on webcams is not human trafficking. It is very clearly human trafficking under Romanian law. Criminal offenses, section 1. It is an offense for anyone who recruits a person by the means of fraud or deception for the purpose of exploitation. The fraud and deception is in telling girls that they're going to be in a relationship or married and travel the world when they're not.
Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together?
Here's more transcripts and text messages Dicot's released between Andrew Tate and one of the women he allegedly trafficked. Again, this is translated from English to Romanian and then back to English, so bear with me. You have to understand that you're mine and you'll be mine forever. A woman never leaves her man. I will be the last man in your life. What do you do if we fall in love and I kidnap you to Bucharest? That's like way more on the nose than that woman ever realized. She says, I don't think it's kidnapping if I want to come. And he goes, first I have to see it in your eyes that you will never be able to live without me. And then I could trust you to show you everything. She tells him, bring a ring when you come. And he says, but can you be a loving wife? To always be by my side wherever I go. Talk to 0 men besides me. Ride or die. You have to move to Romania with me to keep an eye on you. You're mine. Don't forget that. And act like it. We will be together soon. She then asks, can I trust you? And Andrew replies, yes, you can. And I want to know if you're committed, serious about marriage. And she says, yes, I am serious. Having his bottom bitch play along and act like Andrew Tate loves her.
She'll super downplay us so that the new girl feels like, well, they're just kind of work and sex, and now I'm here and he likes me, and she can believe in her mind that she can be equal. If Vivian was completely honest, well, he's been with me 6 years and we're going to be together forever, so you're just a side bitch, then it's not going to ever work.
This is fraud, and the exploitation is then having the girls work in his webcam business.
Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
Now, if you want to, for some reason, you can disagree with the law, like this guy. To be fair, the Loverboy method shouldn't even be illegal. What about the gold...
Hey, look, we found an Andrew Tate fan that didn't include emojis in their comment. And it's just them saying, no, I don't think sex trafficking should be illegal. Yeah, to be fair, there is a non-zero amount of Andrew Tate fans that are actually just pro-sex trafficking. Like... they hear that Andrew Tate sex trafficked women. They're like, well, you're telling me that Andrew Tate made these subhuman, duplicitous females his sex slaves and then exploited them for money? Let's fucking go, bro. Ride or die to the end, dude. That's basically how a lot of these guys are. And those people are genuinely pure evil, and there's nothing you can say or do to get them to not support Tate, because they just sort of, like, they morally, they hold one of their moral values, or that women are inferior and bad and sort of inherently duplicitous, corrupting presences, right? Yeah.
Digging girls that seduce men and take their money. Same thing. You cannot like the law, but even this Tate fan can't deny that he's breaking it. Another charge being brought to Tate is money laundering, and guess what? He's guilty. In the course, he tells the guys how to avoid paying the woman and paying taxes.
Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax.
Oh, the crypto bro shit.
But you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work.
No.
So the girl's working with
that
you,
is not
and
true.
you're like, oh.
I assure you, most of the people that I've gone to for advice on taxes were women. That is not true.
Okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element. If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It's a control element. Secondly, it allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%.
How do you self-report the fraud like this, dude? He's just self-reporting fraud, dude. He's just self-reporting, blatantly self-reporting fraud.
I'd give them 3, and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the
To be fair, he had this scraped off the internet.
So you're on 50%, but we had to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50.
He's teaching you how to commit fraud. And if you have a bunch of undocumented money, well, that means it needs to be washed.
He's
and
money
because
laundering.
it's Andrew, he just talked about it over the phone. This is coming from wiretaps Dicot put in his house. You're not stupid. You could probably guess how I make so much money. The victim responds, webcam? Question mark? I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls working on video chat. The company is fake. But this is how I laundered my dirty money. Some of the girls who worked for me, I then used to do other things, to move money, illegal things, documents, etc. I will never do that with you. Is this blowing anyone else's mind? He has a course where he teaches people how to be a criminal and self-snitches to everything, and then he just tells this girl over the phone.
Obviously. So, people in my chat are, like, really surprised at how much self-reporting Andrew Tate has done, but, like, think about it, like Andrew Tate's a lot like Donald Trump, right? Look at how much self-reporting Donald Trump's done, how much deeper Donald Trump has dug the hole for himself with his comments and his, like, conduct, right? That tells me there's a trend that these people who gain a massive following and massive amount of power and notoriety and platform because of the internet, they start to feel invincible. Their narcissism inflates, and they start to feel like the real world's laws and rules don't apply to them. And so they do shit like breaking the law, getting involved with like criminal organizations and whatnot, and they think that because they're a big, tough titan of the internet, that they're not subject to the law. They very much are. And it's happening to Trump and it's happening to Andrew Tate. And they seem to be so deluded that they will continue their narcissistic bragging about how they can get away with and do anything to the very end. They've fully bought their own bullshit. Yep, every powerful person is like this to an extent, sometimes so much so that they think the actual laws of physics don't apply to them. See OceanGate. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate's a very good example of this. But with these internet people, and I think Trump is in large part who he is because of the internet, it really feels like it's given them this perception that as long as the internet loves them, and they've got these hordes of people online that love them, and support them, like they're invincible. They're the center of the universe, they're the main fucking character, and as long as they are in the positive light of the public, or some part of the public they care about, the laws of everything don't apply to them. They literally seem to act as though they think they have plot armor.
See, I'm the smartest man alive.
Bro, you're an idiot. You caught yourself. You're going to jail.
You guys are good. I'm the last person I would have suspected, but I was looking for me all the time. It's the perfect crime. I don't even notice when it hurts anymore.
Andrew Tate at some point next year is going to have 2 ongoing cases against him at the same time. And it's all because he wanted to sell this information online. Only Andrew could go on a rant about how corrupt the West is, only to later say that it isn't corrupt enough.
But why there?
Because Western society is degraded and Western society is more corrupt. So I think the Western world, there's something that very much angers me about the Western world. I don't feel comfortable here. I don't like the way it functions and operates. I think it's the most corrupt, disgusting, degraded.
He's upset that the Western world is much less like in favor of like raping children and trafficking women. You can't rape children and traffic women. The West has fallen. Oh, that's what these people are like.
Societies on Earth. And also, I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption's far more accessible. I find it offensive that a police officer in England will stop me for speeding and then refuse to take a bribe and pretend that... No, but I'll tell you why. Because he'll sit there and go, no, this is the law and order, and pretend that the law means something. And fuck me over. But if you're a billionaire, or if you're Boris Johnson, you can go to Epstein's Island.
This guy wasn't
He's jealous?
Invited to Epstein's Island, so he created his own Epstein Island. He definitely took full advantage of the police over there.
Yep.
Before we end today's video, I want to play a little game.
They're corrupt as fuck.
Called Is It Trafficking? Because his fans seem a bit confused. By your logic, what do you suppose OnlyFans is? A porn site?
This is their favorite fucking comeback. Ah, yes, all Andrew Tate was doing is basically what OnlyFans does. It's like, no, you absolute buffoon. OnlyFans is a porn website where you put in your ID and you become verified as a user, much like every other porn site that's ever existed that's actually good. They should be verifying their models' IDs and making sure they're of age. And then you get verified as a user on there, and you get to make content. You can upload stuff. How do you know, Zan? Do you have any idea how many OnlyFans girls are fans of my content and that I'm friends with because of the content that I make? It tends to be a pretty common side effect of being, like, opposed to, like, anti-sex work shit. Like, sex workers tend to enjoy your content. And not even OnlyFans girls, too. There are plenty of male sex workers that watch me as well. Notably Xander Corvus, who shares a name with me. Xander Corvus is a friend of mine who watches my stuff sometimes. He's cool as fuck. Yeah, like, if you do pro-sex work content, you're going to attract a lot of sex workers into your community. And it's not like a weird or sexual thing or anything like that. It's completely platonic friendships. But you do learn about their job. And I find it very interesting, like, as a YouTuber, to learn about, like, OnlyFans and stuff like that, because there's a lot of similarities. There's a surprising amount of similarities between sex content creation and YouTube content creation. And it's interesting to talk about. I have fun talking about that stuff because it's like talking about YouTube with another YouTuber, but it's like I get to learn something about a different area of content creation.
Not trafficking. I don't see the issue here. It's the same as the porn industry. If the director tries to trick or force the woman into doing it, then yeah, it would be trafficking. Okay, so let's lock up all women who manipulate men into getting them pregnant, only to have them then pay child support and not see their kid. That's also trafficking. There's
This is what we're dealing with, guys. It's not only that they're just, like, pro-sex trafficking, it's that they then turn around to say, actually, family courts are sex trafficking. That's the real evil. It's the same thing as what the Republicans are doing with every other issue. Actually, no. Ignore these priests and conservative politicians that are, like, raping kids and passing bills to legalize child marriage. It's the gay people who are just, like, being flamboyant and dressing weird that are actual pedophiles, and our evidence for that is they're different. And people who are different are scary.
Definitely problems with family court, but I don't think anyone anywhere ever has described it as human trafficking. Bro, it's just sales, dude. He's using a sales technique. Please stop using that technique. It's trafficking. I also want to address the group of people that genuinely look up to Andrew Tate. I know I'm probably going to get hate for this, but Andrew Tate positively changed my life. I have listened to most of his podcasts.
And the sad thing is, as well, is it's the Jordan Peterson effect. Like 30% of what Andrew Tate says is straight out of like an advice book that has live, laugh, love on it, you know? And the other half, there's a fair amount of advice that he gives that's like, I'm not even gonna give him credit for it being good because he just lifted off of other people, and it's the most basic common sense shit ever. Like, hey, did you guys know that if you work out like a lot and you always have your body in DOMs, you'll feel good? Really? If I work out regularly and my body's always in DOMs, I'll feel good? Really? It's almost like I've never Wow. What is this, advice for people who've never worked out before and don't know what DOMs feels like and don't know how you feel after a workout? Like, it's the most bog standard bullshit advice put behind a paywall and mixed in to somehow justify the advice he gives to dudes on how to sex traffic women. DOMS is, it's like your muscle soreness after you work out. Like, you know how after you do a really good workout, you feel like a really good kind of sore? Like, it's sore and it hurts, but it's like, kind of feels good. You know what I'm saying? That's DOMS. It's an acronym. It's the good sore you feel after a workout. Like up here, you get it a lot in your bicep. That good sore feeling. No, not the burn. The burn is lactic acid in your muscles. That's not DOMS. DOMS is the next morning or like the next afternoon after the workout when you're like, ooh, I'm sore, but like it's kind of sore in a good way. Like it hurts, but it also feels good to fight against the soreness. That feeling, you know? Who's had that one soreness where you can't straighten out your arm? After bicep curls, you can't straighten out your arm? Who's had that? That's a good one. That's a fun one. Love that one.
And have noticed the same inconsistencies you pointed out. You're spot on with this video. I don't agree with everything he preaches, but he definitely helped with my mindset. That's fine, bro. I still listen to R. Kelly every now and then. I get why Andrew Tate's popular. He's hilarious.
Who win the fight? 1,000 and...
Just try to stretch. Do these stretches very lightly and as much as you can, and you'll gain more mobility. Take hot showers. That helps to loosen up the muscles too. Heating pads. Oh my God. If you have a TENS machine, what I used on my swim team back in the day when I had a bad sore body and I needed to do a meet the next day was a TENS machine. It's a little machine that you hook up, little pads to your body and it shocks your muscles and it really helps to relax them and get the soreness away. Like if it's a muscle, it's like stuck, clumped up and all like tightened, the TENS machine like forces it to loosen. You have to adjust it a bit. Okay, the cheap way is like, you know when you're doing squats or any calf type exercise and you get that really, really bad calf cramp? The one that looks like there's an alien under your skin? The only solution I had for that on the swim team, and when we did kickboards, hey, is Jay Beasy here? I believe Jay Beasy is our resident swim coach in chat. The only solution for that when you've been doing kickboards and that like calf freezes the fuck up and it looks like there's an alien writhing under there, you take your fist and you make like a nice pointy like middle finger fist and you dig that shit deep into the muscle. It's the budget like on the spot solution to not being in extreme pain with that calf thing. It hurts like hell, but it loosens the fucker up. It works. It hurts bad, but you got to do it, and it works. But it hurts badly. It hurts really fucking bad.
I'm talking about the end.
Billion ants.
This iconic cigar.
You use rollers nowadays?
I'm not here to moral police your
There were no rollers around. My fist was all I could use.
Entertainment. I'm just trying to clear up a lot of the misinformation I see online. I also totally understand why his fans don't trust the media when they report on the story.
There were those nights after swim practice where I'd go to bed and I'd wake up in the middle of the night to one of those cramps. Like I'd stretched in my sleep and I'd done swim practice and I didn't realize how dehydrated I was. And so in the middle of the night, I'd like wake up or I'd stretch a little bit and it'd just be like I'd bolt out of bed in extreme pain. Like, oh no. And I'd just be like cringing in like deep pain trying to get this cramp to go away so I can go back to sleep. I had a cramp while having sex. Thank God that's never happened to me, but age is age, you know?
stories, they misquote them and take them out of context constantly.
Teach that if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her off.
Is that what I teach?
That's what you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual, you've not watched the video, taken it out of context, flipped it, and attempted to attack me with a small excerpt.
Andrew Tate's right. She's taking a joke from him seriously and is quoting it wrong.
Imagine a girl pick this up. What would a woman do?
So, this is partially, the media's fault. The media has done a pretty bad job of covering Andrew Tate. There has been a lot of oh, here's a really hyperbolic bad thing he said, but he didn't actually say that, but you could have gotten a clip of him saying something worse or just as bad. It's fuck. But at the same time, Andrew Tate's been scrubbing these clips off the internet. So it's understandable they might be having a skewed input of information. Not an excuse though, but an explanation, if that makes sense.
Slap the machete, slap her in the face, one hand, machete, and then backhand. I perfected this.
That is not the case at all, by the way. If a woman comes at you with a machete, you're probably done. If a woman comes at you with a decently sharp knife, you're probably done. Dudes really need to actually know what a knife fight is like. You don't get out of a knife fight without extreme bleeding. You don't win a knife fight without going to the ER. It doesn't matter how much of a John Wick-ass motherfucker you are. If someone comes at you slashing or stabbing with a knife, you're going to get nicked in some really bad areas a few times. One of my favorite demonstrations of this is the pen demonstration, where a guy wears an all-white suit and two guys with Sharpies try to go at each other to see if they could perfectly win a knife fight. It's very rare. Even really trained people with knives have a really hard time winning a knife fight, even against an untrained person just flailing the knife around. It's almost impossible to not get near fatally nicked or stabbed. Yeah. Dudes massively overestimate their capability in a knife fight.
This in pimp school when I got my PhD.
The media constantly taking him out of context.
Not only that, but John Wick gets stabbed and slashed constantly in John Wick. The unrealistic part is that he doesn't have to go to the hospital and get medical attention more.
Has made them lose all their credibility. I totally get why his fans don't believe anything the media has to say. Half of it is untrue. It's actually insane to think that I'm more credible than the BBC when covering Andrew Tate. So subscribe, goddammit! Make sure to check out my other videos documenting some of Andrew Tate's dick riders, because they've done some really shady things as well.
Real. You should check out Willie Mac Show's videos here. They're really good, and I feel like positive reinforcement to good takes is the best way to move someone more to the left and make them kind of less shelled up when it comes to progressive ideas. Maybe they'll kind of check those things out. Because if you just kind of send hate and cancellations at somebody when they have a bad take, it's you're only pushing them away from the left. You're not actually making them realize why their take was bad. With this, if you actually say, this is a good video, I usually don't agree with you, but this video was very well made and you did some good journalism, that's more encouraging for someone to be open to progressive ideas than anything else. At least that's what would have made me more receptive to left-wing ideas back in the day. I'm just speaking for myself.